Hello everybody and welcome, it's your boy Shimigami X, aka Captain X, leader of Squad X, and here today to give you my review of Bleach chapter 580 entitled The Light. Alright, I didn't have the opportunity to bring this review out yesterday because my internet was down, and because I'm connected to uni servers, I can't really go around messing with the, all the network servers and all the proxy settings and stuff to get it up and running. So what was actually holding me up was the fact that I had the video recorded, pre-recorded, and sorted out and everything. I edited it and all of that business. But then when it came time to trying to upload it, obviously with the internet going down, it just wasn't going to have it. But nonetheless, so I decided to re-record my entire Bleach review and give it to you fresh from scratch. So I'm able to drop in this explanation as well, so you guys also know why it's late. I did let you guys know on my Twitter fan page, which also is linked to my Facebook fan page. Links are always in the description box. Links are always in the description box below. Anyways, on a lighter note now, you guys probably wondering why I'm in a shirt and tie. The reason for that is because, as you guys know, I've had several interviews over the last couple weeks. Or if you don't know now, you do know. I've had several interviews over the last couple of weeks. I just had my first induction day for a job I'm going to be starting on the 3rd of June. So that's why I'm in a shirt and tie. So I just came back from that, and yeah. And I've got another one to go to, so as you can imagine, I don't have much time to do my review. So hopefully the internet's going to be back up and running, or is back up and running, what am I talking about? So hopefully once I edit this video, I can just put it to upload and whatnot, and then I can sort out the thumbnail and stuff later on. Nonetheless, let's get into the chapter. For one of the first times since I've ever done a Bleach review, I'm actually going to have to look back at the chapter on my phone, and the reason for that is simply because I haven't had as much time to read over the chapter as I would have had. So naturally, all the starters that were revealed in this chapter, I'm not going to remember all of their names, and that's something that I don't exactly want to get wrong. But I do remember like specifically what happened within the chapter. So nonetheless, let's get into this. This chapter was actually, you know what, I was happy with this chapter of Bleach, and the reason I was happy with this chapter was simply because that, for one, it seemed like the right length compared to the previous chapters, whereas lately we've had very short chapters. Kubo's been delivering very short content week in, week out for several weeks now. I think it's actually been for like the last 2 months or so that he's been doing this. So this chapter seemed sufficient in length. It sufficed, and also I was actually quite satisfied with the events of this chapter. Alright, we can see that now, that after how Kenpachi is beaten down after taking a few hits from Star Knight T, Candice Catnip, that Grammy actually did do a number on him. Like that galaxy room and all those missiles and stuff, they did eventually take an effect on Kenpachi. It's just that it didn't initially show it, because he's just such a tank. He managed to tank the explosions and all that business. So as much as I did not like the character Grammy, I have to give him his props that, you know what, he put in the work. And you know what, it's funny that, because it's the same thing with a few chapters ago with Master Masculine. I hated the character, but he did put in his work. So nonetheless, let's move on now. We get a weird reveal of powers in this chapter. Like for example, Star Knight G, like Gluttony. Like that was the weirdest power, and I thought like, okay, that worked against random fodder Shinigami, but I'm thinking if it against the likes of a captain, someone like Toshiro or Shunsui or anybody of that caliber, that's something like that's not gonna work. I just thought like, yeah, cool. It was pretty interesting to see, but really, how effective is that gonna be in battle? Like, yeah, you can move your mouth around. Fair enough. I'm gonna hold back on my thoughts about that simply because I don't know the extent of their powers. Clearly, they all have final holy forms, because if you guys remember the chapter with where Bambietta was defeated by damn, I forgot this guy's name, Komamura. You guys remember that basically when she released her final holy form, they kind of resonated off her and went into their holy form themselves, because Quincy's resonate off of each other. So clearly they have a final holy form. So I'm going to reserve, as Ace would say, I'm going to reserve my judgment on that matter, simply because I don't want to make any mistakes or make anything or call anything ridiculous. Now, as for the Shinigami getting trolled, bearing in mind the fact that they're Squad 11, it does quite show that these female knights are strong. We always knew that they're strong because it's the simple fact that they are Star Knights, because the Star Knights are the elite soldiers of the Quincy. So inevitably we knew that was strong, but I didn't think, even from my last chapter, that they would be able to deal this much damage to Kenpachi. So there's two ways you can look at it. You can have a look at it as that, okay, these female Star Knights are just that powerful, or you can look at it as the case that Kenpachi is significantly weakened in terms of Grammy. And I'm going to go with the latter of the two, simply because of what Candice Catnip said in this chapter. The fact that, okay, she's surprised that he is able to get up after taking a lightning strike from her, and after dealing with Gremmy, she's like, what, are you some kind of monster? So that just goes to show that Gremmy, it was the case that Gremmy really did do a number on Kenpachi. So with all that being said, I guess it's just safe to assume that, you know, at the end of this, Kenpachi would have been out for the count until we had the explosion in the sky. Now, there's going to be a lot of crazy speculations going on about, you know, what that explosion in the sky could be. You know, to be honest with you, there's several things it could be. It could be another battle going on, but I highly doubt that. People saying that it's in the shape of a skull, because I looked on Bleach forums and stuff, because this is what I do. But personally, what I think it's Ichigo coming down. And the reason I say that is because if you guys go back to the Hoikomundo arc, where Kenpachi Zaraki saved Ichigo from being beat down from Tesla, Nono Tora Espada number 5's Fraction, Ichigo was saved by Kenpachi, and I think it's only fitting that, you know, Kenpachi was saved by Ichigo. No, Ichigo was saved by Kenpachi, sorry, in that chapter. But I think it's only fitting that Kenpachi is now in turn saved by Ichigo in a similar fashion. Now that he knows the true name of his Zanpakuto and he's had a significant power up. So I think that's only fitting, and I can quite easily see that happening, and I can easily see that being an introduction to, you know, a reintroduction to Ichigo as a character, because you haven't seen him for like, I don't know, what, it's been a good 50 something chapters now, or something crazy like that. But nonetheless, if it is Ichigo and he does come back down, how would these female Star Knights be able to deal with him? Would they be able to produce much of a challenge for him? I personally don't think so. Yeah, I believe they might get 1 or 2 hits in, because they are formidable opponents in their own right. But against somebody like Ichigo Kurosaki, or even against a full power Zaraki Kenpachi who knows the name of his Shikai and has supposedly released the shackles, I don't think they'll be able to defeat them. But nonetheless, overall this is a good chapter, because you get the reveal of like Star Knight Z, which I did call it. I called it several chapters ago. You guys can check my my Bleach review archive to check that out. But like the zombie, because I like people say there's not ever many words that can, you know, go off Z. Like there is Zion and all kinds of things, but other than that, there's not really ever many words that can be deduced into a power. So the zombie was only fitting, but I did think her power was unique, and I did like the way that it was done, and it also shed some light onto what people possibly think happens to Bambietta. Because if you remember, when Bambietta was finally defeated, Star Knight Z, the zombie, I can't remember her name. Oh, my phone's locked, I can't bother to unlock it. So yeah, I can't remember her name, but she was standing over, like whole of Bambietta's crew, and especially her, was like leaning over Bambietta, saying like, just basically, and Bambietta was screaming out, like basically like, no, don't do this. So I think that maybe like they more or less zombified her and probably using her as a puppet now, and that's probably what they do with people who die or get defeated in their crew, or who can no longer fight. Because it does make sense that if this person can no longer fight, that okay, I'm just gonna use my zombie powers to use you as a puppet, because even if your body's dismantled and whatnot, I can then use you. So that does in turn make sense. So maybe we'll see Bambietta later on, just in like, you know, in a messed up form, kind of like what Kite was in the Hunter x Hunter series, where he's all deformed, crooked and messed up from being taken over by the Chimera Ants. But that's a different series entirely. I was using it as a reference. Other than that, I just think it was pretty cool to see, like, you know, the female knight's powers. I think it was pretty cool to see that, you know, the Father Shin Megami just get trolled like that. Also, another one that impressed me was Star Knight P, the power. She just literally dropped like a 5 to 10 ton building on like the Father Shinigami of Squad 11 and just quite evidently crushed them. So like in terms of physical strength, is she stronger than Kenpachi? Who knows? I doubt it, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Some of their powers were impressive, but then I think to myself, okay, how would these powers be useful in a fight against a full-powered Kenpachi or a full-powered Soul Reaper captain at the end of the day? The only person I see whose powers could be like, you know, generally very effective was you know, Star Knight T, Star Knight P, and Star Knight Z. Star Knight G, I don't really see how that's going to be very effective, but the thing that I find the most concerning is that these Star Knights are inevitably going to be defeated. So that means these powers are going to return to Juha. So when these powers do return to Juha, how the hell is anybody going to be able to defeat him? Because if you cut this guy, you know, he more or less has control of you. If you, he can imagine whatever he wants to come down. The guy's essentially like a god. What else can he do? But some lightning strikes, heat. If you go to cut him, his body be like made of iron. It's crazy. There'll be so many different things that he can do. He can weaponize himself. It's just ridiculous. Like all these 26 different Star Knights have such unique and crazy powers that if Juha ever does get these powers back, I personally don't think Ichigo is going to be able to handle him on his own, and that's just my personal thoughts about it. Anyways guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed my chapter review of Bleach chapter 580 entitled The Light. It's your boy Shimigami X, aka Captain X. I hope you guys have enjoyed my chapter review. Remember to follow my Facebook fan page and my Twitter fan page. Link is always in the description below. For my new subscribers, all I have to say is welcome to Squad X. And I'm signing out, my people, and as always, take care and peace. Keep it 100.